Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20, and welcome to episode 10 of Direwolf20's Let's Play series. Oh man, am I having a good time. So, we've got a nice little cow farm here, we've got our smeltery, we've been doing some sorting systems, we've got all kinds of thermal expansion machines ready to roll, we've got a lot of good stuff here. But, you know, we've been doing a lot with tech. I think it's time to maybe look at a little bit of magic. So, without further ado, let's start taking a look at some of the things available with some of the magical-based mods that we've got available in the pack. We've got two prominent magical-based mods, one of them being Ars Magica 2. Ars Magica 2 is like more of a magical power of the player, I would say. So you can craft spells that your player can cast, and you have a mana bar and stuff like that. We're going to get into that one a little bit later. One of the first mods I want to get into, which I'm more prepared for, is probably going to be Thaumcraft, aka Thaumcraft 4. Thaumcraft is more about magic of the environment and the player being able to manipulate it a little bit. It adds a bunch of really cool items and tools and all just kinds of crazy stuff. Golems for automation, really good things that I'd like to jump into and start playing around with. So let's start playing with Thaumcraft. What are we going to need? Let's take a look. Alright guys, let's get started with Thaumcraft. So what's Thaumcraft all about? Well, Thaumcraft is a mod that's all about the magical nature of things in the environment. Let's get a couple basic things to get started. First off, we're going to need to craft ourselves a wand. Wands are not too hard to make, luckily. First off, your most basic wand is going to require a couple of iron caps and a stick. And that will get you your iron-capped wooden wand. Cool. The thing's ready to go. It's pretty basic. The next thing you're going to want to craft to go along with that wand is a book. Or actually, I'm going to need 3 books. Let me get a couple more ingredients here. There we go. That cow farm is coming along nicely, by the way. And we're going to put those 3 books into a bookshelf. And then give it a good old hit with the wand. Ta-da! Nice. So the bookshelf has turned into the Thaumonomicon. This is your guide to everything within Thaumcraft. Anything and everything that exists within Thaumcraft is going to be contained within the Thaumonomicon. So if you want to read more details about the different ores that are available, you can. These are all the World Gen ores found. If you want to look at the different plants and trees that are found within Thaumcraft, there you go. If you want to look at the enchantments that are added by Thaumcraft, definitely available. Also, information about the Thaumonomicon itself. Obviously, it tells you how to craft one if you want, but you just saw how to, so you're in good shape. Some things like research, pretty important for you guys to read through this if you've never done research before. I'll definitely show you some of the important aspects of research and how it works. So we'll kind of go through the whole mod and figure out what happens. Also, auras and nodes. What's the aura? What are nodes? What are they all about? So if you want to read a lot of backstory and a lot of important information, and then finally aspects, which are also really good to know stuff about. But we're going to go through that all right now. So basically, you don't have to read through this, but I definitely recommend it because there's some really good information in there that's more in depth. Now you'll also notice there's some tabs on the left-hand side of your screen. These are the different sections that are available within Thaumcraft. These are going to show you all the different items that can be crafted. Anything that's blinking is something that you're able to, you know, go ahead and research right now. Anything that's solid is something that you already know about. So you're going to have to research all the different aspects of Thaumcraft before you're allowed to use most of them. So there's a few things that you can craft without doing research, but it's a very small list. Basically, you're also going to need to research pretty much almost everything. But you'll be able to see how to make just a couple basic things by flipping through the pages here before you really get too deep into research. And then there's also some add-ons that come for Thaumcraft, things like Thaumic Tinkerer and Magic Bees. You can see there's some Magic Bees. That's an add-on to Forestry and Thaumcraft. So there's a couple different things you can definitely check out within there. So that's the very, very basic parts of Thaumcraft and what you're going to need to do to get started. Now the last thing that you're going to want to do to get started is craft a Thaumometer. Thermometer, where are you at? Thermometer, somewhere in here. There it is. Thermometer. Cool. What am I missing? Glass? Probably missing glass. Now we're talking. This is kind of your looking glass to see through the world of magical and awesome things. The thermometer serves two purposes. One, it allows you to see certain things in the world that you wouldn't be able to see without it. So let's go out and look around the world just a bit and see what kind of trouble we can get into playing around with this thermometer. What can I find? Let's see. Ah, I found something. See this little thing? You can barely see it. It's really hard to see unless you happen to be looking through a thermometer. And then you're going to be able to see the aura node that actually exists there. What's up, Creeper? How's it going? Thanks for sneaking up on me. It's alright. My armor did a pretty good job of taking care of him. So that's one of the purposes of the thermometer. It allows you to see things that normally you wouldn't be able to see unless you were looking through the thermometer at them. The second thing that this allows you to do is start scanning items throughout the world. So basically, everything within the world is made up of magical aspects. We can see a list of all the aspects right here. We can see all the primal ones at the very least. Okay. Basically, all items in the world are composed of these magical aspects, and you can analyze all the different items and blocks that exist in the world to discover information about them. And it also leads into research, because you're going to need to be able to take those points that you learned from researching the items and apply them to research within the research table to unlock all the mysteries of Thaumcraft. So let's start scanning a few things. Now, the only downside to this is that you can't know everything right off the bat. You basically need to start scanning some basic things early on, and then you can scan more and more complex aspects later. Let's start by looking at cobblestone. Simply hold right-click, and you'll discover on the bottom right-hand corner it's telling you that you gained a research point for Perdito and Saxum. So cobblestone, that's what cobblestone is made out of. And now that we've scanned it, we can hold our mouse over the cobblestone in our inventory and hold the Shift key, and it'll pop up little aspects there. So those are the two aspects, Saxum and Perdito. Saxum is a compound aspect, which is basically built up of two other aspects. Okay, so you can see here, Saxum is a combination of earth and earth. The reason I'm able to understand Saxum is because I already know the two base aspects that it's made up of. If I were to want to scan something like this chest, okay, I would probably get a message saying that you do not have all the knowledge required to understand this. That's because the chest is made up of wood, and I don't understand the component aspects of wood just yet. I've got a couple basics, that come with it, but I have to start researching other things before I can unlock wood. So I probably can't get to a bed, because that's also going to require wood. I doubt I can get this pressure plate, and believe it or not, grass blocks even elude me. Okay, so there's quite a few things that I don't have the ability to research just yet. A torch, though, I can research. That has the aspect of lux. We can see it down in the bottom right-hand corner. So if we take a look in our book now, we've discovered something about lux. It's a combination of air and fire. Most of the aspects that are compound aspects, their base aspects kind of make a little bit of sense. It's not always going to be a combination of primal aspects, by the way. You might have something that uses, Saxum or Lux as one of its compound aspects. So compound aspects are not always made up of two base aspects. It could be two compound aspects or one compound and one base, that kind of thing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just spend a few minutes looking around and seeing what I can figure out. So you can either scan blocks in the world or items on the ground. So one example here, if I were to get this piece of dirt that I just tried to pick up and wanted to scan this thing, I should be able to scan it. You can see there it's telling me it's dirt, and it's made up of 2 Terra. Cool. All right. How about this iron chest? Probably, oh yeah, look at that. Man, I discovered a bunch of things by scanning that. I discovered metallum and vitreous. Let's take a look. Metallum is a combination of Saxum and Ordo. Ordo is a primal aspect. And vitreous is a combination of Saxum and water. So because I already discovered Saxum, now I'm able to discover vitreous and metallum. So you're going to want to go around scanning a bunch of different things. Let me take a look through some of my items in my inventory and see what other trouble I can get into with this whole scanning thing. Can I scan a snowball? I don't know. Yes, I can. I discovered Gellum. Cool. Now, one of the things that we're going to want to do is start utilizing all these research points, and for that, we're going to need a research table. So let's go into my wood chest here and get ourselves a couple different tables. Okay. Where is my research table? There it is, right down the bottom here. So you can see a research table, well, tables, for that matter, come from 2 planks and 3 slabs. Any kind will do. So I'm going to need one. Let's get actually another one of these. Another table, please. 3 should be good. Okay, and then the other thing I'm going to need is some scribing tools. Scribing tools are pretty important and useful. So I need an ink sac, a glass bottle, and a feather. So let's get an ink sac. I'm going to need a few of these, so I'm just going to grab a bunch, and one feather ought to do. And I'll grab a bunch of glass and get ready for that. Wonder if I can scan glass. I think I can at this point. Hooray! I discovered a research point for vitreous. Cool. So first off, glass bottle. I hear some Enderman shenanigans going on outside. Shenanigans for sure. Alright, so where do I want to have my Thaumcraft base? That's a really good question. I think I'd like to kind of, I don't know, have it somewhere underground or something. Let me take a look around and figure out where I want to start building up and putting all my Thaumcraft goodies. Alright guys, so on occasion I've had a Thaumcraft area that was kind of far from my base, and it was always annoying to have to run over there when I wanted to do something. So I think I'm going to build it relatively close to my base, as in right next door. I'm going to have just an extension of my base. So in order for this to work, though, I want to build it using my friend the builder. Yes, the filler is going to fill in a nice little area for me. So let's see, probably right about here. And then I want this to be, 9 across, like my usual style. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 ought to do. Let's see if we've got a nice looking house. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do nicely. Now I'm pretty sure what's going to happen there, though, is it's going to fill in. So actually, let me drop all this down a bit. There we go. I always forget this. Is when you build using the walls mechanic, I'm pretty sure it's going to fill in the floor. So if I had built it the way it was, we'd have this flooring here that I'd have to clear out, which, wouldn't be the end of the world, but it's all good. All right, so I don't think I've shown you guys this thing acting in filler mode. So why don't I make sure that you get to see it. So the filler, we've seen it clear items out, right? And just clear out a big swath of area. Well, you can also fill in a large area. So let's see, where's our thermal expansion stuff? I'm going to need... yeah, hardened energy conduit, that should be fine. That'll ensure that we get a lot of power over to this thing. So, filler. And just because I don't like to forget to do this, I want to go collect all my landmarks real quick. I'm thinking this room ought to be big enough. Do I really want this to be this size? Yeah, I think that should be cool. Yeah, I think so. We can always expand it later, right? Alright, putting this guy down, we're going to put in a bunch of cobblestone, because that's what we're going to build this area out of. And then I'm going to use bricks and put it in a pattern like so. And that's going to be a mode that will create like a walls area. Now if I had this brick in the center here, this would completely fill the thing in. But like this, it's going to create walls around the border and leave the inside empty. Okay, the last component here, a hardened energy cell, which will set the right side to be outputting energy, and there it goes. See how nice that is? Now, assuming I have enough cobblestone in here, which I should. Maybe. Yeah, look at that. All done. Now, like I said earlier, don't forget to break this when you're done, because one of the things is the builder, even though... Whoa, boy. Gotcha. The builder will continue to drain energy, so make sure to get that thing off there. Even though it's done working, it will continue to drain energy. Not sure if that's a bug or if that's just the way the builder is designed to work, but one way or another you probably don't want that happening. So let's get ourselves a little bit of dirt here. All better. Nice. Oh yeah, look at that, nice and dark. So let's make sure it's well lit in here. Let me just go around putting in torches all over the place. And I'll be back in a second. Alright, so this will do for a nice rudimentary magical starting point. So let's get our research on. It's real easy. First you get a couple tables, place them next to each other, and those scribing tools we made earlier, pop them on the side here. I like to place them on the left side. It usually kind of orients the table a little bit more correctly, if you will. The next thing we're going to need is some paper, because if we're going to be doing some research, we're probably going to want some paper to scribble on. So let's get some sugar canes here, turn them into paper. Nice and easy. Okay. I should probably get more sugar canes at some point, but we'll work on that. All right, research. Really not too hard. It's actually kind of fun. It's a neat little mini game that you get to play. So first off, you're going to want to look in your Thaumonomicon and take a look at some of the things that are available to be researched, okay? First off, there's all these different things in here that you can look at. Basically, like I said, anything that's filled in is something you already know about and can look at the details of. Anything that's glowing and blinking like this, you're not going to know much about, so you're going to have to do some research on it. One of the first things that's probably the easiest and best thing to research is nitor. It's part of alchemy, and you can see it's made in the crucible here. The crucible you already know about. It's pretty simple to make. But nitor is something that you're going to want to research. So I happen to know that the mystical flame here requires some of the aspect that's associated with fire, which is Ignis. Okay. Now there's a couple other things that are associated with Ignis, so you may not get it. Basically, what you want to do is click on the aspect that you're interested in and place it in the center area here just by left-clicking on it, and it's going to allow it to be researched. And if I want to research about Ignis, I click on the green button. If there's something that Ignis can teach us, it's going to show up here. See, we're going to find out about wand foci. This is actually a pretty nice thing to research, so we're going to go ahead and click the Ignis aspect again. Boom. And what that's going to do is highlight on the sheet here a couple different things that we can look at. Now, in order to get this whole research thing to work out correctly and in our favor, we need to connect the glowing blue circle right here to all the other darkened circles across the research page. In order to do that, we need to move the glowing runes into position that allow them to connect. Now, these runes can only connect to the glowing circles about 1 block away. So you can have a 1 block space in between them. So, for example, you can see when I click on this non-glowing rune, there's different positions that it can move to. If this were glowing, okay, from this gap away, it would be able to connect because there's only 1 space in between them. But from this far away, it would not because there's more than 1 space. You can also kind of put things at an angle, so I can kind of angle it upwards. And you want to be about 1 space away. So if you're like 1 over and 1 up, you're pretty good shape. Okay, so let's look at trying to get that into position. Now, unfortunately, I happen to know that some of the things I need to use to research this, some of the aspects that I need, I don't have available just yet. So let me take this wand foci out of here, and I'm going to start off by looking at Lux. This should give me the wand, or the research for nitor. So because I started off with Lux, I happen to know that Lux is going to be part of this research. So let's click this in here again. Oh look, it just so happened that the connection was automatically made because the glowing rune happened to be in a good position to connect these 2 lines. So now that all the circles on the sheet have been filled in, I can go ahead and grab my discovery of nitor. So before I discovered this, I couldn't click on the nitor. It's glowing, saying it's available to be discovered, but I can't actually do anything with it yet. Once I've discovered my item, I can simply right-click on the discovery. Ta-da! Research completed. Nitor. Now let's open it up. You'll see first off that on the left-hand side, this little tab is glowing, indicating that it's ready to go. There's something new here to take a look at, and we can come over to our nitor and see what the deal is. So how do we make nitor? In order to make nitor, we're going to need a crucible, which we haven't crafted yet. And basically the research on nitor tells us that it's a magical flame, and there's a bunch of different uses for ever-burning flames, and it can be placed in the world to act as a magical light source. So we can use this in place of torches, which is pretty cool. Okay, so in order to make this, we need to use a crucible. So let's start taking a look at how I could get myself some nitor. Okay, I'm going to come over here and get a couple things I need to get a crucible going. I'm going to need a handful of you, some of these things. Put this together like so to get myself a cauldron, which is just a vanilla Minecraft item. I have a wrath igniter, but I don't see in here my normal igniter thingy. There it is, flint and steel. Cool. So let's get a crucible going. I'm going to place it kind of right here at a completely random and totally innocuous place. So what I'm going to do is place this down and light a fire. I'm going to place the cauldron on top, and to turn the cauldron into a crucible, we just infuse it with a touch of magic. Ta-da! Now we've got a Thaumcraft crucible. Awesome. We're going to need some water to go in here, so let's go downstairs, or wherever I have my infinite water source. Let's see, do I have a bucket laying around? Yes, I need to make one. So let's get a bucket and get this set up. Alright guys, so this is nice and easy. I've got a water source. Where did I put that thing? Did I put it in the basement? I might have. There it is. I'll probably want to have a water infinite source in here for a little bit, but we'll see about it. So you just got to put some water in there, and it'll start to bubble and boil when it's ready to go. You'll see it happening. It only takes a few seconds. See? There it is. Now, one of the things that's a component of this is an aspect that I'm not too familiar with just yet, and that's potentia. Since I played a bit of Thaumcraft, I know where to find some. Potentia can be found on redstone, and I think I've got all the components needed. Let's find out. Nope. Don't know everything that I need to know to get potentia just yet. Let's take a look at coal and see what's on there. There it is. Ignis and potentia. So redstone's got something that I couldn't really discover yet. But let's go ahead and... Actually, I'm going to turn off my miner's backpack because I'm going to be playing around with stuff for a bit. So let's make sure this thing's locked. Let's see if redstone's available to us now. Nope, still not just yet. But that's okay. Coal has potentia on it. Neat. Let's go over here and see what we need to do. So like I said, with my Thaumanomicon entrance, we need something that has 3 lux, 3 potentia, and 3 ignis. Okay, those 3 aspects need to be in the crucible all together. And then you want to throw a little bit of glowstone in there to catalyze the whole aspect of the thing. So let's see what I have in here. I'm going to put your redstone away for a bit. Now it just so happens that my coal has 2 potentia and 2 ignis, right? But I need 3. So what if I put 3 coal into the crucible? There'd be a total of 6 in there, right? So I could probably make 2 nitor at a time if I put 3 coal in. That would give us 6 ignis and 6 potentia. Well, I also need then to double the lux, which would be 6 lux. And I know I can get lux from torches. It's 1 lux each. So again, I need 3 coal, since they have 2 each of the aspect, for a total of 6 each of those aspects. And then there's only 1 lux on each torch, so I need 6 torches total. And that should get me 2 nitor. So in order to get the 2 nitor, I need to put 2 glowstone dust into the cauldron after I've done that. So let's do it. Okay, so 6 torches. In they go. 3 coal. And then my 2 glowstone. And ta-da! It crafted for me the 2 nitor that I need. Awesome. So now I've got nitor. One of the cool uses of nitor, by the way, which is a little bit nicer looking than what we've already got here. And don't worry, I'll make this room look a little better once I'm probably off camera. Nitor can also be used to boil the water in a cauldron. So you can place this in the world. It's a really nice looking light source. It's cool looking. Don't get me wrong, it looks great. But it can also boil the water in a cauldron for you so you don't have to leave a flame running down there. Nitor is awesome, and it's pretty much used for a couple different things that we're going to get to later on. So why don't I spend a moment or two scanning a few things. Typically, once I get started with Thaumcraft, what I'll do is kind of run around and scan all the things. Not even kidding, that's pretty much what you're going to want to spend your time doing. A lot of things you won't have the knowledge to research yet, but don't worry, you'll get there. Once you've researched a few basic components, you'll manage to get started. How about I show you a couple basic things you're going to want to research in order to rapidly get yourself up to speed with Thaumcraft. And since this is a magical item, I'm going to toss the nitor straight into my magical items chest. So if you pop over to the Feed the Beast forums, there's a couple forum threads that are some pretty good quick tips to get started with Thaumcraft research. A nice thing you might want to scan early on is a bowl. A bowl gives you vacuous, which is a nice aspect to have. Once you've got that, and we've already gotten the potentia from coal and a couple other things, you want to hop over to your research table. Now, you don't have to discover new aspects by scanning them in the world, though it is probably the more efficient and cheaper way to do it. Another option is to come into the research table and start combining aspects within here. So remember I told you guys earlier, right? We've discovered that lux, okay, here is a combination of air and ignis. So in the research table, if you've got air and ignis, you can combine them Ta-da! And you earn a research point for Lux. So remember, when we were doing our research, we lost a point every time we added it to the right-hand side on the page. So you're going to have to continue to scan more and more items if you want to be able to do more and more research. Okay. Now, if you don't know the aspect, you can discover it by combining things. So for example, I know Victus, which is the life aspect, is a combination of earth and water. Earth and water combined together give you Victus. See at the bottom here, we just discovered Victus. Cool. So now that I know Victus, I can start scanning things with Victus in it. Cool. Let's go outside. Oh yeah, it's not too bad out. You know what, actually I think I've got the stuff inside that I need. Right here in this chest. Seeds. Have a nice aspect that'll help us out early on. Granum. Cool. Okay. You're also going to want to scan grass. Ta-da! Now I can scan grass, which had the herba aspect on it. Why can I scan it? Well, because herba has granum on it, which I didn't have before, and granum has Victus on it, which I just had. So I couldn't scan those guys earlier because I didn't have Victus yet, but now I do, so I'm good to go. Cool, right? You can also scan anything with wood in it, so this crafting station might be scannable. Aha! Discovered arbor. So now that I know about wood and I know about vacuous, I should have no problem scanning a chest. Look at that. You can also scan items from other mods. So for example, this pulverizer. Don't have the knowledge required to understand these things just yet. That's okay. We'll get to it. Let's see what other kind of cool things I can come up with. Iron we already discovered, so that's good. Not bad at all. One thing we're probably going to want to learn is modus. So I believe trapdoors have modus on them. Ta-da! Discovered modus. And once you've gotten these base items scanned, you'll be able to scan a lot more. So why don't I run around the world scanning all kinds of stuff, and then I'll be right back. By the way, don't forget to scan animals, because they will also give you all kinds of good stuff. There we go. Cool. Come here, pig. Nice. Got everybody, I think. Yep, we should be good. So remember, even if you already know the aspects, you're going to want to scan them because they'll just give you more and more research points. So once you've gone and gotten a bunch of the research notes that you're going to need, you can kind of go through all your chests and scan just a ton of stuff. This is kind of the way I do it early on. Just make sure I have tons and tons of research points so I'm ready to do all kinds of awesome magical stuff. Right? Very cool, right? So pretty much every item in the game is going to have research points associated with it. And you're really going to want to get as many of these as possible, because the more research points you have, the more things you're going to be able to do, once you get started playing around with Thaumcraft. That all looks good. And don't worry if you, run out of items that you found on the world to craft or to mess with, because anything you craft that uses a vanilla crafting mechanic. Now, what I mean by vanilla crafting mechanic is anything that is crafted using, let me see, did I put everything in the right chest here? Probably not. Yoink, yoink, yoink. Anything that's crafted in a vanilla crafting table. So anything that's made with a normal crafting table. Some things, even though they are made in a crafting table, don't have vanilla crafting mechanics, like Industrial Craft has its own crafting thing, but I think Thaumcraft stuff should work. Oh yeah, look at that. The more complex the item is, in other words, the more items that go into its creation, the more aspects it's going to have on it. So when you start scanning like advanced machines that have all kinds of important stuff on them, you're going to have a ton of aspects get added to your research table. Awesome, right? So now that we've gone around and scanned just a ton of cool stuff, like you, and believe me, once you start scanning, you're going to get a little addicted to it, and you're going to be like, I have to scan everything. Yeah, you're going to want to, too. Let's see, research table? Cool. Crucible? Definitely. Remember we made Nitor earlier? You want to scan that. Don't forget to scan things that you make with Thaumcraft, because you'll get a lot of aspects from that as well. Cool. Alright, so now that I've got a ton of research points, I should be able to finish up my research notes from earlier. So remember, we discovered this, right? Now, in order to move these things early on, you can't click on them while they're activated. Don't worry, there's some advanced research you can get later that allows you to do that. But for now, we're going to have to turn them off and move them into place. Now, this might be long enough to reach. Ta-da! It is. Cool. So now we've got this connection going from here to here. Now we cannot now connect from here down to here. We have to continue the line in the same direction it was going. We can't just go like here and then also here. Okay? So in order to get down here, we're going to have another node. We notice that, we're not going to be able to reach with one more of these. So let's take a look at what else we're going to need. Procantio, which is magic. Ah, there we go. Cool. Let's move these unnecessary little things out of the way. And I'm going to turn off the Percantio aspect. And I'm going to move this thing over. You can move it a little bit at a time. And there's even an unlocked research later on that allows you to move more at a time. And then I'm going to turn the Percantio aspect back on, which should connect the lines. Ta-da! Now just note that every time you turn on and off Percantio or any other aspect, you're going to lose some of the research points that you've already discovered. So I only have 4 Percantio. I have tons of Ignis, 35 of it. But believe it or not, that's not even that much. You're going to probably want a good amount. So we've already started to get low on Percantio. So we're going to want to scan more objects that have Percantio in it, more magical objects, in order to, basically have more of those research points so we can do more research. Cool. Research completed. Wand foci. Let's see what that gives us. Down here in the thaumaturgy, we're going to have our first bit of wand foci. We can attach foci to these wands and get them powered up. So you can see here, we're going to need to make an arcane workbench. In order to get an arcane workbench, well, we need one of those tables. Yoink. And I think we hit it with the wand. Ta-da! We've got an arcane workbench. Now, the only thing about the arcane workbench is we're going to need some magic power infused in our wand. Notice at the top left of my screen, while I have my wand activated, that there's these 6 little things coming out of it. Those are basically your energy levels for this wand. This wand can absorb energy from the environment, okay? And you're going to want to do this with aura nodes. So let's go around and find that aura node that we discovered earlier. I know it's off in the distance here. There it is. How's it going, aura node? Now, different biomes determine what kinds of aura nodes you might find. We found one here with fire and order. Most of your aura nodes are going to have primal aspects in them, one of the 6 primals. And in order to draw energy out of that aura node, you just need to point your wand at it and hold right click. Now, there's one little thing I want to note to you. Notice how there's 45 of each aspect in here. Your basic wand can hold 25 of each aspect. And as you're holding right click, you'll see in the top left inventory that my order and fire aspects within my wand are charging up. So I'm filling this wand up with this magical energy. There it goes. I filled up order and fire. Awesome. If I look at this thing again, we'll see that there's 20 of each left in there. There's 21 fire, which means it's already recovered some of its fire. This aura node will slowly but surely regenerate itself and refill itself back up to that 45 level it was at, provided you don't completely empty it. If I completely empty this node of fire and order, there's a chance that that fire and order might not replenish. So do yourself a favor and never empty out an aura node. If you really want to, sure, go ahead. But this thing might not regenerate. And don't worry, there's research you can get later on that makes it so that you can't empty out an aura node, not accidentally at least. So look at that. It's already regenerated one of its order. So let's look around here and see if I can find any other aura nodes before we have to get close to the wrapping up point. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to make sure I scan everything I find. Cool. Hey, oh boy, that's going to hurt. Yeah, that hurt. Alright, to aid me in getting my items back, I'm making a rope ladder. I'll meet you back where my items dropped. Yeah, do yourself a favor when you're looking through that Thaumanomicon, watch where you're walking. Or the thermometer, that is. It's easy to not be paying attention and then fall to your doom. So let's see, if I attach this rope ladder here, there we go. Excellent. Nice. Got all my stuff back. Yeah, I would have been really upset if I lost most of this gear. There we go. Ooh, while I'm down here I can scan some things. Ha ha ha. Yes, scan everything. Trust me, it's just the way you want to do it. Alright, any nodes? Let me go look around for a node. I'll be back in a minute. Alright guys, so I am looking around for another aura node. Not seeing one terribly easy to find nearby. I was kind of hoping to find one more to show you before we wrapped up the episode here, but unfortunately we have kind of hit that wrapping up point. So what I'm going to do is wrap up the episode here. I'm going to look around, see if I can't find a couple more aura nodes in the nearby vicinity. Anything down here? You know, they're also easier to see at night because they do emit just a little bit of light. So, you know, if you're really looking for them, do that. And don't worry, we do have some better items coming down the line that help us find aura nodes much more quickly than looking through this thermometer all the time. So we'll craft some of those probably pretty soon. So like I said, I'm going to do more scanning of items and more research between this episode and next. You won't see me doing much research on camera because it's kind of intended for you to do the research yourself. So it's kind of a spoiler, me giving away too many research recipes. But don't worry, you'll definitely see some of the more important ones that I get. And then, you know, of course, also, you know, after you've seen research once or twice, it would probably be boring to see me research all the stuff. Oh, there's an aura node. Good news, you can see aura nodes through blocks. So if you happen to be nearby, you can kind of track one down, even though it's behind a wall or a cliff face. This, I would imagine, has water on it. Yes, water and Gellum. It's one of the rare aura nodes that has a compound aspect on it. So let me fill my wand up with some water. And with that, I'm going to have to sit here and say, I'm sorry to say, it's wrapping up time. Hope you guys have enjoyed the episode and the season thus far. You know what? It's probably going to be a little bit easier to get some water if I have a platform to stand on. Because bouncing around the water like that, definitely no fun. All right, there we go. Filling up our wand here with that node. Cool. Lots of water in my wand now. Awesome. And this wand will be used to fuel some of my magical creations coming up. Now, the other good thing, guys, and I know we're way past the wrapping up point here, so let me start running towards my base while I get to tell you guys the exciting news. For those of you who are new to the series, I upload my world every 10 episodes. Running from Creeper. And this is episode 10, so guess what? It's time for a world download. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload my world. I'm going to try and get it available up on the FTB launcher for you guys, so you can just download it straight from the launcher going to the map section. You can also find it on the forum thread that I link in pretty much every one of my videos. It's kind of the forum thread where I allow people to kind of go and chat about the episodes and, you know, what they liked and that kind of stuff. And then it's also where I'm going to have some things like computer craft programs I write and any other links that I find appropriate, and every world download every 10 episodes. So what I'll do is I'll upload this world, head over to my forum thread or the FTB launcher, you'll be able to get the world download and start playing with it. And I'm almost back at my base, so let's run inside. I said run. And what I'm going to do, because you won't have my player data, I'm going to put all my items in this chest here. Looks like as good a place as any to put stuff. Let's see, I'll take this stuff out and put these things in. That ought to be good, and I'll just let the sorting system take care of all this stuff, okay? So now my inventory, mostly empty. You, and you can also be sorted. There we go. Cool. Alright guys, so nice, my inventory is empty. You will now have access to all my items. They'll be in this chest here if you download the world and want to start playing with it. And like I said, every 10 episodes. So the next world download will be at episode 20. Alright guys, hope you are enjoying the season so far. We've got a lot more fun adventures to go on. Lots of magic to get into, lots of technology to play with, and some very interesting machines I'm already starting to come up with the ideas for. Alright guys, Direwolf20 signing off. Take it easy.